Hello, everybody. Welcome to the tutorial. If you're here to learn, you're in the wrong place.
Unless you're here to learn about things you should be reading that you're not reading.
AKA.
Let's talk about raccoon.
Let's talk about raccoons. Oh wait.
I mean, we could talk about raccoons, I guess. Are there webtoons with raccoons?
Little trash pandas. I bet there is.
You know raccoons are illegal to own in this state.
So are foxes.
Yeah.
Raccoons are illegal to own in a lot of states.
I know.
You can only legally own a fox in like 7 states. I don't know any state where you can legally own a raccoon.
Probably New York.
There's a lot of states. There's like 18 states that don't allow you to have a otter. Why are we talking about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does this have to do with webtoons?
It doesn't.
I blew out my throat a minute ago.
It's an opener. What do you mean?
It's the fact that Ringo actually doesn't want to talk about webtoons, so he's trying to change the subject on us.
No, I
He's
really
like
don't.
the Berserk
I
But
manga.
he's over there. He's over there eating the
The Berserk
McRib.
manga is the most influential video game in the past 10 years.
What?
That's just
But don't
that's gonna
even-
become a meme on this show.
Minecraft was the most influential game of the last 10 years.
Mhm.
All right, so webcomics. Oh boy, webcomics. Have I told you? Have I told you about the glorious world of webcomics? Because if I haven't, that's clearly my mistake.
I'm curious. I'm curious if you have because you said you had like you did research and whatnot, and you have like information in front of you.
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about how it started, like on DeviantArt? I assume it started on DeviantArt. It might have started somewhere else, but that was the earliest.
I mean, the
that I
concept of webcomics did not.
I was gonna say it did not start on DeviantArt.
But like as something that people put money into, I think that was at least my earliest exposure to it was on, and I use that term very specifically for a reason.
You're talking about
Oh, sure.
you're talking about them
I'm
old
talking about-
comics.
I'm talking about two kinds. I look at that one panel and I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Frickin' two kinds. Wow, that's not even on my list anywhere.
Yeah, I looked at one panel. It was like, I'm not ready for this.
That's one of those not safe for work ones.
Yep. Hence why I was not ready for this, because I was in a library, in a public library.
For work one.
Well,
Because she's straight up naked, my
I was gonna
guy.
say, I'm just throwing it out there that like the main character is female and also does not ever wear pants. So like,
Yeah. And not in the Disney
But she
way. Like
has
she
fur.
straight up got that camel toe. But she straight up got that
Yeah.
camel toe
fur.
all the
It looks
time.
good, right?
How does that make it better?
Nope.
Listen,
How does that make
Supposed
it
to,
better?
listen.
Nope.
We're getting way off topic.
probably.
So actually, I have a coworker that told me he wants to start like a website for webcomics. And I thought that was pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
There you go,
Here,
guys.
talk to us about Webtoon.
There you go. That's Ringo's contribution to the entire podcast. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, I got like for me personally, I've got
With his mouth full. How unprofessional.
shit,
Oh, wait.
console girl updated.
I'm just saying this because Ringo is the only one here that doesn't read webcomics and doesn't know anything about them. So I imagine that's about the extent of his knowledge right there.
He got
I'm
that
kind of
Zoom
hoping that
issue.
you'll have amazing reactions to what we say.
Well, let's
Yeah,
find out while
tell
I
me.
read off the 6-page script that I wrote earlier.
Tell me things and I'll do a spit take.
So I currently have Webtoon, Hiveworks, and Tapas opened
Yep.
to
We'll talk about
just
those.
look at
Bit-
stuff.
Uh,
Well, just to like look at various things and be like, oh yeah, that's a thing we could talk about. Assuming you don't fully.
Can we talk about
Fill
the
all the
words
time.
under my name over here on the right?
what do you?
Under your name over here on the right.
I'm just gonna laugh, and nobody, since they can't see the screen, will have any context to why I'm laughing. But that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, well,
I-
I mean, I'm looking at previous shit. He was fucking pissed about the microphone issue earlier. I saw taste the game.
Yeah, it's just real quick. Dave was having some microphone issues earlier, so he was getting real mad, and the rest of us were putting like in the chat just this stuff like, Titty Skittles, taste the gay.
That actually does sound like
Taste
something
the
Tupac
gay.
would say.
Okay, but seriously, I read a
Yeah,
lot.
so we got 6 pages of script for RGB to get through.
I read a lot of webcomics, like a lot of webcomics. Like just on Webtoon, I have like 160 that I'm subscribed to.
God fucking damn. I find it
That's,
difficult to
like,
keep up with
way too
3.
many.
Okay, so do you ever think
Yeah,
that
right?
you might have a problem?
It's not
Yeah.
a problem.
How many
It's
do I
a
have here?
choice.
This is
I can stop
1,
whenever
2,
I
3,
want.
4.
I
So
don't
that's
think you can.
16 originals. I got.
See, even that would have sounded a lot more impressive 2 minutes ago.
No.
Fuck is 7 times 4.
He has a
28,
0 on the end of that
29.
version of you.
So I was just like 29 plus 16. That's how many fucking webtoon comics I'm subscribed to.
He still has like
that works.
130 more than you.
Here's a reason that works, because every day I have like 2 or 3 that update, so I only read 2 or 3 chapters a day.
Yeah, to be fair, also when I wrote the script it was 160, and I've got like at least 6 more since then. So
I have
Jesus
3 that I
Christ,
read.
man, he's just like popping them in like Skittles.
Do you like what else do you have time for?
well, here's the thing. When I'm at work and I'm
Excuse me.
sat at the desk for 8 hours with nothing to do.
I suppose that makes sense, because he can't do what I do in that same situation. Because in my situation, there's literally no one to hold me accountable to anything. So I just pull up a fucking anime site and watch anime. So
I thought for a second you were gonna say hentai because you paused.
He did pause.
yes, I watch porn at work. That is my primary
I've
way
also-
of entertaining myself.
That is how you get fired.
Well,
Cause it's you and me and all of the hentai.
well, I'm at work. I just talked to my buddy Cornelius Hubert.
Yeah. I know a lot about that.
That's one way to get fired real quick.
That will get you fired instantaneously.
Yeah. It's like, hey, man. Boy, can you explain this video of you jerking off behind the desk?
I can, yes. I was.
So
Oh, you see, I was
tempted
talking to my
to
friend
say the
Cornelius
word
Hubert.
You guys don't want me to say now, just to fuck with you, because this is a subject we started talking about.
So, anyway, I read another 2 webcomics on
Anyway,
Tapas.
the Berserk
and,
comic is the most
60.
influential video
God
For-
game.
damn.
I read 4 more comics on Hiveworks as well.
Only
So-
4, huh?
Yeah. Well, Tapas and Hiveworks I'm not on as much. Mostly I'm on Webtoon.
Is it tapas or tepis?
I noticed.
It's Tapas.
It's tapastic, but then
It's-
they shorten
It's
it to
tap.
tapas.
It's tap deadastic.
Yeah, sure. That would.
Okay, if your ass has a stick sticking out of it, tap that ass stick.
That's when people start asking who showed the stick up your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
They start asking it.
I'm just like,
Oh.
I'm having a hella disconnect from the call right now because I'm just watching this hummingbird being like super confused why he can't get.
And we
nectar
still
out of
haven't
the-
got to
Ladies-
page 1.
Ladies
Out
and
of the
gentlemen,
bark of a
here,
tree.
ladies and gentlemen, here we have a live demonstration of ADHD.
Yeah.
Minecraft is the most influential game of the last 10 years.
Okay, Ringo, I get it.
So what is this? Our fitness gram pacer test? We're just gonna keep using that over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point with this whole webcomic thing is you might call me a connoisseur of webcomics.
I would
which
not
is-
call you that.
Which
No,
is
I would
just-
call you an addict.
it's a fancy word of saying I read a lot of them.
I would not call you that. I'd call you an addict.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thanks, Zeta. Thanks for your input.
That's great.
Zeta's like, you can't say shit to me. I'm married.
Yeah.
Zeta's like
I mean, that's
hummingbird.
true.
I don't read
Fuck
webcomics. I
you,
have
I'm
a
married.
wife.
I have three webcomics that I read, and I find it difficult to keep up with them because I have other things that I do.
Like ADHD.
Yeah, then there's that.
Yeah, but especially with the world being like really shitty right now and everybody being stuck at home and shit.
I don't see why that's a difference for you.
I mean, it's not
Yeah,
so much.
seeing as how
but-
you have a desk job, it doesn't really affect you that much.
My point is, I have plenty of time to read. Let me just tell you, there's a lot of good ones, and there's a lot of like meh ones, and then there's a lot of like really really bad ones, like the Berserk manga.
Which he only mentioned because fucking Ringo put a Berserk manga page in the chat.
Man in the
He
chat
just
with
put-
gut.
He
Gatsu.
just put one in the chat. Yeah,
I'll put one in. Hang on.
you better be careful what you say right now.
You don't have to. Oh, it's more Berserk.
He's just gonna keep spamming that. Okay, so anyway. But wait! What's that you say? You don't know what webcomics are? Well, do I have a story for you?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I don't remember saying
I'm
that at
reading
all.
my
No,
script.
but I
Shut
did.
up.
Awesome. Read the script that you probably spent like 2 minutes on.
Yep. It's not like I spent a whole ass week writing this and then we skipped a week because like I didn't get home till 12:30.
I would like to hear the script, please.
Minecraft was the most influential video game.
See, Ringo doesn't want me to read it because he just wants the Berserk manga.
Keep going.
Yeah, fucking. Why are you letting that stop you?
You don't know what webcomics are? Okay, well, do I have a story for you? Probably several. So, a webcomic is a series of comics published online. Simple, right? But also very complex. But that the description is more or less accurate, though. The thing is, they can vary in quality and length and genre and the Berserk manga.
So that's just becoming our first major meme.
Second
No,
major.
it's the
Pretty-
second one.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the first major meme is the
It's-
Minecraft is
I was
the
gonna
most
say-
influential
I was gonna say,
video game in the
the-
last decade.
The Berserk manga is the second most influential video game in the last.
All right, so what do you want to
Does
talk
Bruno
about?
Mars
I'm kind of curious how you structured this discussion.
Well, the thing is, these can vary in quality, length, and genre. So you get some really, really
There we go.
extensive and compelling stories like Tower of God and God of High School and anything else that has fucking God in the title.
No, absolutely not. Because I
Tower
read
of God-
Adventures of God, and that is absolutely not that
Oh,
description.
yeah.
at
yeah.
all.
Well,
I
that one-
strongly disagree with you,
that
sir.
that one's had some serious drama recently, but
People print it.
like
I would definitely
Wow.
say that Adventures of God is probably the best one that has God in the title.
it may
It is
be.
probably the best.
It
I'll
may
give
be,
you that.
yeah.
What is it?
Uh,
it is definitely the best one.
But my point is, Tower of God and God of High School, they were so good they got adapted into anime. Or like Sweet Home, which was so good that it has a live action fucking Korean Netflix series. But then there's also ones like Blue Chair or Safely Endangered, and they're just kind of, or fucking Adventures of God that are just like short, like funny strips like you'd find in the Sunday papers. If anybody remembers the Sunday papers, does anyone read the Sunday papers anymore?
Dude,
I read the Sunday papers like every Sunday, dude. Chill.
you're
That's
old.
still the thing that people do.
Dude, you're old.
Dude, you're young. Fuck you.
Yeah, Zoomer, get the fuck out of here.
Read the Berserk.
What's a VHS? What is this? How do I use
read,
this?
Read the Berserk manga.
I literally have fucking a bookshelf with a ton of VHS.
The Berserk manga? Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
but do you
I had
understand?
a bookshelf with a fucking Berserk manga on it.
yeah, you probably do. That's okay. I have a bookshelf with the Komi-san manga, and that's it.
Ooh, boys.
Okay.
But we're not talking about manga. We're talking about webtoons. And of course, that doesn't even cover the
Which
fact
is
that there's
literally
like
digitized manga.
there's like every genre ever. Do you like to watch people
There
struggle?
are
With,
manga webtoons.
do you like to watch people
There are
struggle
web
with,
manga, if you will.
hardships and strain their friendships? Try the 4 of them. Like to watch people slowly die inside until they finally admit their feelings for one another? Try Age Battered. Like
Oh, I'm sorry,
lasers-
what?
Try every single fucking romance thing to
Like-
exist on Webtoon.
Do you like lasers and robots and shit? In the bleak midwinter is a thing. You want some murdery stuff, you sick bastard? Witch Creek Road. Point being, if you're into
I
it,
couldn't keep up with that one. That was really dark.
it's pretty
Hang on,
fucking dark.
hang on,
yeah.
hang on. Doesn't Witch Creek Road have a live adaptation too?
I don't think so.
I would not
Yeah.
doubt it. That's a story
I'm-
that could be
I,
live
I
adaptation.
haven't heard anything about
I'm
it.
pretty
but-
sure I've seen a commercial for that. I'm gonna look that up right now.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think so. My point is, though, if you're into it, they've probably got it. My personal tastes tend to trend towards like drama and slice of life and romance. A bit of comedy and
it's-
sci-fi and horror also
It
thrown
was
in
a
there.
song first. That's what I'm thinking of.
Now, you may be thinking, but you're probably not if you're Ringo. You might be thinking, wow, that sounds awesome. Where do I get some of that? Or, maybe you're not. I don't know your life. But anyway,
Tell me, Sonic the Hedgehog, where do I get some of that?
Yeah,
well, I'm so
Yeah,
glad
tell
you
me,
asked.
Sonic Joke voice.
So I mainly get my webcomics from 3 big sources: Webtoon, Hiveworks, and Tapas. And those are the ones that I know and trust to some extent. I know there's like some other ones.
Snafu is also really
There's some
good.
other ones like Tappytoon or Pocket Comics or web novel, but those are like the shady back alley ones, like that weird doctor
Yeah,
that
I'm-
you're not even
I
sure
gotta
has
say,
a
like,
real medical
Tappy
degree.
Toon, every time I've ever actually seen an ad for Tappytoon, it's an ad for a porn comic. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's always like every single time I've seen Tappytoon, it's always like, oh, my stepmom.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
or,
like
the,
weird
or,
shit.
or my favorite one, the one where it's like, I'm straight, but my friend gets me hard.
Yeah,
I think I
that's
saw
another
it.
one.
My internet history has not decided that should be something that I would be advertised. So I don't know what you're looking up.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
$19 Fortnite card.
Anyway, I'll probably look into those one day, but I don't know, man. They seem pretty sus to me right now. Anyway,
Sus.
my favorite one is obviously based on the 160 subscription count. Obviously, Webtoon, and for obvious reasons, they're probably the biggest platform. They've
Just
got
so
a
we're
whole
clear,
lot.
Webtoon is a term that refers to a lot of different webcomics.
This is why I'm
Webtoon,
calling
the
them.
website is specifically called Line Webtoon.
This is why I'm
and
calling them
companies
webcomics.
/line.
I'm calling them
Yeah.
webcomics, and Webtoon is one of the
I'm just trying to be
services.
specific because if you look up Webtoon with no S, you'll get the website. If you look up Webtoons with an S, you get a whole bunch of shit.
I assume you know this because you've done it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get a lot of ads for Webtoon, and every time I'm just like, this out of my face.
Yeah, you probably are.
Yeah,
There-
Ringo over here doesn't believe in good literature.
I
He
believe in
only
the
believes in the
Berserk
Berserk manga.
You have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, the Berserk manga.
No, but
No,
you know what?
don't
I
shut
do have a moment. Let me just mute you real quick.
No, don't do that. Not legit.
Nah.
We need to hear his reactions to stuff.
Yeah.
Why you
Let's
gotta
talk about
disrespect him
comics.
like this?
The problem is if I mute him, it's just me that can't hear him, so I'll just sound like a madman while he's talking.
Why you gotta disrespect Guts like this?
All right, I'm muting you.
Why do you gotta disrespect Guts like this?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
because you don't have any.
yeah.
Anyway.
Take that hit too well.
Anyway, Webtoon, probably the biggest platform. It's got a lot of really good artists, and it's got a lot of really good storytellers, and it also has the opposite end of that scale, with some really bad ones.
It sure does.
It also has a
There's
very, very easy to understand user interface, and their ads are not super invasive and shitty, which I always consider as a plus. They do have a currency,
Yeah.
which is called coins, which basically allow you to see. It's like 3 to 5 episodes in advance, I think, depending on which webcomic it is. It also.
I mean,
lets
I don't have the
you-
level of experience that you have, but I've pretty much only seen ones that are 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Gamer guide.
Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5.
Yeah, it depends. They can also let you bulldoze through any of the selection of daily pass series, which I kind of almost really kind of hate those because it's like, man, I just want to read the whole thing, but I don't want to pay money for it. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't like those either.
Uh,
No, dude, I'm
library
not
yeah,
paying you like
so-
$100 to bulldoze through this.
if
fucking-
you're willing to pay for it, you can, but they don't make it necessary. I know what you're thinking.
I also don't read it because I'm not gonna wait every day for another fucking
I
comic when there's 86 episodes to
I-
read.
I do, but we don't have to talk about that. I know what you're thinking. Microtransactions bad, and yeah, honestly, I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing first, at least. But the thing is, they make it very obvious that it's very, very, very optional. They don't make it super necessary. They don't throw it in your face like some people like and as a bonus,
Oh man,
they
the
do-
ads from Tapas have been getting real bad lately.
they do events where they give away coins for free just for reading webcomics, which is great for someone like me. And did I mention?
Who reads webcomics?
Did I mention they're available on PC and mobile, so you can read almost literally anywhere, unless you're in a dead zone, of course. Then
Hey, so question: Can I get some of your support money that you clearly got from them to advertise them super heavy?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
I mean,
wish.
we're
Where's
all,
my
we're all part of
cut?
this. We're all part of
Hey,
this.
Where's
listen,
my
listen,
cut?
listen. Right now, if we're talking, pure, like radio time or whatever you want to call it, pure fucking airtime, we've talked more about the goddamn Berserk manga than we have about Webtoon.
I mean, you keep bringing it up. It's almost like you're the one who likes it.
Listen, listen,
Listen, Sonny.
listen.
Not wrong.
You can also download a series, right? So you don't have to be connected to the internet to read it for like 3 or 4 days or something like that.
Or I could get Spotify Premium and
Okay,
download
also,
my music.
Other
Alright.
websites with
Okay.
webcomics exist.
Yeah, I have a big old line. I have a big split line here on the script that just says in all caps, all right, before this sounds too much like a sponsorship, let's move on. Too late. It already sounds like a sponsorship.
Yeah, dude,
It,
sounds
it
like a
does sound
sponsorship
like
3
a
lines in.
sponsorship.
I mean, you wrote a
He's like, where's-
6-page
Where's my
script.
where's
It's like,
where's my cut of the sponsorship money?
Yeah.
Come on,
Well,
let's go.
I'm still waiting for my cut of the sponsorship money, so I'll let you know when that happens.
I'm still waiting for the cut of my jib.
All right.
all right.
let
keep
me
going.
talk about Hiveworks for a second. Because of the 3 I mentioned,
Yo.
it is my second favorite choice. The big downside to it is that there's no there's no mobile app for it, but there's no app in general for it. But I can understand why it's like that, since it's less of a webcomic hosting service and more of like a portal to individual webcomic sites.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that doesn't mean you can't just do it like on Chrome on mobile. You can totally do that, or whatever your choice of mobile browser is. But so, for example, if you wanted to
Safari.
read Ghost Theater on Webtoon, you go to the Webtoon site, you find Ghost Theater, and the list of webcomics, and you just read it directly off of Webtoon. Whereas if you wanted to read Kiwi Blitz from Hiveworks, you'd have to go to Hiveworks and then click the link for Kiwi Blitz, which would then take you to an external individual website for Kiwi Blitz that totally exists.
It hasn't updated in almost a year.
Yeah, well, Cube's up to some shit. That being said, the Hiveworks network has some very amazing comics in it, and I do mean that. They're some of my favorites. Some of my top 10 favorites are some of my top 5
Well, I already
favorites
know
even.
what 2 of your 3 are gonna be probably.
It has some very, very amazing comics in it, like Kiwi Blitz and Namesake, and boy, oh boy, Namesake. But we'll talk about that later.
Yep, I knew that was coming. Namesake was coming.
And of course, there's
Namesake
ads.
is like your number 1.
There's ads, but I don't find them like terribly
There's, like,
intrusive.
Banner ads?
Yeah, they're like banner
they're just
ads.
banner
Yeah,
ads.
and it does make sense because the comics, the websites, they're run independently, and the creators usually rely on ads or something like Patreon or Ko-fi or fucking merch, bro. They rely
See,
on that
because
to
I
fund
also
themselves.
read, what do they call it? I read Starhammer, The Boy Who Fell in Paranatural.
Yeah. Oh, I read Paranatural too. Oh, it's so good.
You apparently read fucking everything, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I
the
read a
fuck?
lot. I do read a
Come
lot.
on.
Yeah. But Hiveworks really, it's a fantastic network of creators, and they're doing some fantastic work. And you should 100% go check them out if you have the time or the interest or both.
Oh,
Oof.
Slightly Damned is on Hiveworks now. Look at that.
I don't know what that is. I'll have to find out.
Oh no. That's one of my favorite comics. That's actually made
Congratulations.
by a comic creator right here in Phoenix, and they show up to the Comic-Con every year. Except this year and last year, because we're not doing
Because
Comic-Con.
yeah, well, that was all virtual, and
Because
I didn't
the world
attend.
sucks.
Oh, I feel like I get hit in the back of the head.
You probably did.
Anyway,
Okay, so finally, I will talk about Tapas, aka Tapastic, aka Tapas.io, or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's gone by many names. This one,
And it's widely considered the nastiest.
this one, it's a lot. It's a lot like Webtoon in that it is a platform that hosts webcomics, and in host many webcomics it does. I could go through all the ways it's basically another Webtoon, even though it may have been around first, but actually that's not true because when I looked it up, Webtoon has been around since 2004, and Tapas was launched in 2012. I don't know why I kept.
2004?
Yeah, I don't know why I kept
sure
that
about
part
Well,
in my
yeah,
script.
but it started out in Korea only. So it was like Korea only for almost 10
Yes,
years.
it did start out in Korea.
So I was gonna say I haven't seen it.
Tapas came
I
out for the
haven't
West
heard about it until recently.
well before
Yeah.
Webtoon did.
See, because once it hit the West, it fucking exploded like everything does. But yeah, it started out in Korea. So if you go to like if you go way back to like the first comics that were on Webtoon, it's mostly like translated Korean comics.
Yeah, Japan hit the West and then got fucking nuked.
Wow. What a fucking thing to say.
Why
Thanks.
did we go there?
Anyway, talking about Tapas, it's got artists, it's got writers, it's got genres. The webcomics themselves, they're usually pretty great, like Irma or Heartstopper. They're both pretty good
Irma's
examples.
fucking
Irma's great.
Irma's
I love
on
Irma.
Webtoon too
It is,
now.
yeah. Both of those ones that I just said actually are on Webtoon now, for good reason. The reason
Tapas has issues.
the reason
wanna talk about
why
that so much,
Tapas
but-
the reason why Tapas is my least favorite out of the three that I said, it's very simple. Ads, dear sweet Christ, ads, they never stop.
Interesting.
Let me be real
Gotta
clear
pay them
about this.
bills,
See,
man.
so can I be straight about this real
Wow.
quick? Ads don't really
No,
exist.
no, you gotta be
on-
gay about it.
Fine, I'll be super
Yeah,
gay
what are
about
you
it.
doing?
So ads don't really exist on the site itself, but they
All
do
right,
put
now we're gonna
ads
get in
everywhere
trouble.
else.
Now we're gonna get in trouble.
All right.
gay people
You
don't
said
talk
be
normally?
gay about it.
You think gay people?
Yeah, I
don't
didn't
talk-
say
Let
be
me-
offensively, flamboyantly stereotypical.
Let me be real clear about this, okay? Before you get super confused like Dave. Ads for products like Amazon or whatever that gets advertised to people, they're pretty minimal. They're not very present, and I don't tend to take issue with them because them artists got to eat. But Tapas has a nasty habit of really aggressively trying to sell you ink, which is their currency, and you can use it on their platform to fucking throw at artists or something, I guess. And
It's like bits, I think.
yeah,
That
and
comes
don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to the idea of spending money to support my favorite artists, but I don't need a pop-up every single goddamn time I open the app like, hey man, you need some ink? Download this game and reach level 50, lol. Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
man.
no,
Trying to
Okay,
find
no
I
the
thanks.
can,
kid.
No
I
thanks,
can agree
dude.
with that. That's
Y-
accurate.
yeah, I ain't got time for that shit. Like, that's like walking into a library and having to win a fucking series of Pokemon battles before you can get a library card.
I was gonna say it's like walking into a library and there's fucking just what's it called? What's the song called? Megalovania just starts playing when you walk into the fucking library.
Nope, I'm out.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
hurts. That hurts me on a
It's
personal level.
it's
Fucking
bad.
boss
It's
battle
bad.
time, man.
It's bad for business.
You like Megalovania? I take it.
No, I don't, which is why it hurts me on a personal level. I
It
do
hurts
like
me
libraries.
spiritually because I brought it up.
You just walk into the door and look behind the counter to where the librarian
One
is, and they're
wizard
like, "I
Sephiroth.
am the Sans now."
Please no.
Okay, so in short, comics good, ridiculously aggressive marketing not so good.
True.
That being said, why don't we go round robin, and we can talk about our favorite webcomics and why we like them.
Starting with.
Probably in usual fashion, starting with the oldest and probably stopping at me, because if we go past me, Ringo will just talk about the Berserk manga.
The Berserk manga is the most influential video game of the last 10 years.
Hold on, let me get a drink.
Dude, it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you got a problem, man.
No, like water.
It's 10:25, excuse you.
Oh, my bad. Drink
Man,
away.
I have to distill all the webcomics I like down to like a few favorites.
Just
Damn
pick
it,
just pick
that
a few
is-
that stick out in your mind that you like and talk about them.
Just distill all the alcohol.
I would say probably the top ones that I like the most would be there's one I read on Webtoon called Lackadaisy, which hasn't updated in forever, but it's fucking
Ow.
amazing.
I hit my knee.
The only downside to it is everyone's gonna hate it because furries. But it's
That doesn't really bother me
what
that
it
much.
is story-wise it's more about like 1920s prohibition America, specifically St. Louis, and the sort of underground
St.
liquor
Louis.
scene that was going on there. And Lackadaisy is the name of a speakeasy that was really, really strong and powerful, but now they're falling on hard times because the guy who ran the speakeasy died.
Oh.
And so his widowed wife is trying to, bring things back to the golden age. And they're dealing with a primary antagonist, which is another speakeasy owner, basically.
And
There's
at
a
the
lot of
and at the end, both of the speakeasies transform into giant robots and fight each other, right? But
I
like,
would be 100%
Power Rangers?
honest. That
but like
entire just to say that as a meme does a
steampunk,
horrible disservice to the comic. It's very,
steampunk
very
robots.
accurate to. It's very, very accurate to the time period.
Okay.
The thing is, everybody is some variation of a cat, an anthropomorphized cat.
So it's like a exclusively feline version of God damn it, and right when I was about to say it, I forgot what it's called.
It's like Rescue Rangers or
Lone Digger.
Oh
yeah,
Lone
no.
Digger.
Oh no. Why the
But
fuck
all
did you bring
cats.
that up?
Man, no.
I
It's
mean,
bad.
it's just a music video.
Yeah, it's just a music video
It's a bad one. That's a
Yeah.
bad
with a gazelle rubbing blood all over her booty.
Yep. Absolutely.
Why do you have to remind me of things I already bleached from my eyes? Okay, moving on. In the comedy department, I would probably pick either Pixie and Brutus or Toaster Dude.
Pixie and Brutus is on
Toaster
Webtoon now.
Yeah, Pixie and
it
Brutus
is.
and
Pixie and
Toaster
Brutus
Dude are on
is
Webtoon.
brilliant. So for those who don't know, Pixie and Brutus is a story about this guy brings home like a military service dog who's like an old grizzled veteran with a scar down one eye and everything, and all the comic dogs make him sound like this. He's like Wolverine incarnate kind of character. And then he
Hugh
gets paired
Jackman.
up with this adorable kitten who doesn't know. I don't know.
Doesn't know the
She's just, like,
horrors of
most
the world.
innocent- Doesn't know any of the
doesn't know the horrors of
Like,
war.
she's got this like raccoon character who's like a bully to her, and she's like, he is really mean, and then the dog says something like, yeah, I would. It's like, yeah, if I was like that, I would rip off my striped tail, and the raccoon's like, fuck that, I'm out of here. Some shit
See,
like that.
I already forgot who Jim just compared him to, but to me, he looks like Richard Dean Anderson. Like, he straight up looks like Richard
He
Dean
kind of
Anderson.
He
does.
kinda
Actually, he kinda
does, yeah.
I said Hugh Jackman because he said Wolverine.
And then, what was my? Oh yeah, Toaster Dude. Well, Toaster Dude's brilliant. Like, it's
Toaster
got a
Dude
lot
Toaster
of-
is fucking
Dude.
amazing.
Toaster Dude is like the One Punch Man of Webtoon.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really sad that it was so short.
What made me even
I
sadder?
I mean,
let's see.
Ragnarok was
what
shorter.
made me even sadder about that is the artist who created Toaster Dude has a second webcomic called Sunnyside Skies. And in one of the recent
Toaster
episodes,
Dude did better.
one of the
didn't
recent
they?
oh yeah, one of the recent episodes, so there's like a little kid character and his older brother, and his older brother was like, "I'm gonna throw out your Toaster Dude collection," and I was like, "Sir, how fucking dare you?"
Oh, Zomcom's another good comic.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's one of the ones.
That one
I technically
and Axed.
Axe is written by the same person.
Yeah.
I'm not counting
Yes.
complete ones because I'm no longer reading complete ones because I've read them.
Let me see. For romance, I would pick Lore Olympus.
You fucking better.
And I need to find it here. I know I'm forgetting the
like-
name.
Romance. That's not my
Fuck.
thing.
I don't generally like
That's
romance
because
either.
your only
Oh,
thing
here's
is the Berserk manga.
The other romance one I like is Here's the Situation.
Goblin.
Um,
Soy Goblino.
I'm also trying to keep in mind some other comics on other sites that I read. So, like Hiveworks, for example, I read Namesake 2. Slightly Damned is about a... basically, you have this fantasy world with
I do get a coaster for
humans
this.
and other races. And the main thing is there's like a sort of furry race called Jakai, and one of them dies, goes to the Ring of the Slightly Damned, which is basically limbo. It's the you weren't quite bad enough to really get into hell, but you can't go to heaven.
I see.
Purgatory.
So yeah, exactly. It's
More like
basically that.
purgatory.
So she ends up meeting this like super
Purge the
innocent,
heretics.
nice guy demon, and helps him come back up to the
Innocent,
normal
nice guy
world.
demon. What
Nice
a sentence.
guy.
I'm not even
demon.
joking. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. It is exactly what it sounds like.
She meets Bad Boy
And then
Halo.
he falls in love with an
Hi,
angel
my
that
name's
doesn't want to do
Azazel.
her job, and that's the whole story.
She meets
hold
Bad
on,
Boy
there's some
Halo.
more
That's what you're telling me?
totally.
Sir, I'm
Totally
finishing
100%.
this fight.
Oh, yeah, then Kiwi Blitz. which
Sir,
Imagine
I
I'm
was
finishing
introduced
this
to
hot dog.
way back in the days of
Sir,
what's it
I'm
called?
honk honk.
this Slurpee.
Deviant art being much bigger and more important in my life than it is now.
Sir, I'm shredding this
Kiwi Blitz has
gnar.
actually got a special place in my heart because it's the
Sir,
very
I'm peeling these
webcomic I ever read.
potatoes. I mean,
Right, so
good on you, Dave, for trying to stay on topic.
Rip. We should probably stay on
So
topic.
Kiwi Blitz was the first comic I ever read.
Uh-huh.
Kiwi
Well,
Blitz.
web-
Oh yeah,
so the
fucking Kiwi
first
Blitz.
webcomic.
God damn.
Yeah, Kiwi Blitz is. I was introduced to it through Unknown Person's animations for his character Carl in the.
The old Talos
I'm trying
tournament.
to remember the name. Yeah,
Oh,
Law
Law
of
of
Talos.
Talos.
Law of Talos, yeah.
Law of Talos tournament.
That's a fucking old.
way back.
As
Paranormal's
old, yeah.
fun. It's a high school supernatural club thing, ghosty goos and stuff. The boy who fell is
Ghosts
really
and goblins. Well,
it's
not
really
less goblins
interesting.
and more ghosts.
Basically, this kid Ren gets. He doesn't actually die, but the devil pretends he does so he can get something out of him, and he makes him go traipse through hell doing all this shit for him.
Okay.
Uh,
You're dead. You're dead.
And then on Tapas, I read Twin Dragons, Unfamiliar, Dragon Fairy.
Yo, I miss Double Dragons.
Yeah.
Swordbreaker's a really interesting one. Irma, of course. And then there's one that I read a long, long time ago that I'm noticing right now is popping up as it just updated again, and it hasn't updated for like 2 or 3 years probably, called Console Girl. And the concept of that one is that they take various electronic appliances and they use this machine to humanize them.
Oh,
And the reason
Oh,
the
no.
comic's called
Yeah, you
Console Girl is the main character's console turns into a girl.
Yeah, so
And it
basically,
gets really fucking weird.
so
really fucking
basically,
fast.
I'm gonna take my toaster and I'm gonna stick it in the Waifunator 9000.
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna stick my dick in it.
Just so we're clear, not every
Hey, you know-
single fucking
you know what?
appliance turns into a woman.
You know what? At
But-
least
but that
yeah,
one did.
Fucking Merryweather Comics.
Fucking
Don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking
Merryweather's
about.
actually really good. I
the
like Merryweather.
Wifeinator 9.
The
Uh,
Waifunator 9000.
Yeah, that's a name.
That's a
Merryweather
fucking
has
name.
like what? A City Called Nowhere, Internet Explorer, Meme Girls. Those are all really good.
I'm mostly talking about meme girls in this case.
Meme Girls is
Meme Girls.
Meme Girls works though because it's all about the humor and not about the stupidity of
I mean, yeah.
turning everything into a girl. What else? Is there anything else? There's one called I didn't even talk about it yet. The Dragon Tutor is probably one of the best ones. The Dragon Tutor and Spellward Bound are two of my favorites, probably on Webtoon for sure. The Dragon Tutor is this high fantasy world. Dragons don't look like dragons, unfortunately. They really should.
Do they look like
No,
girls?
we talked about this off mic for a little bit before. He sent me a picture of what the dragons look like, and I was like, "That's a lion."
So the way
they're
that
Chaos
they
stuff?
have like an explanation. So there's the actual reptilian race of dragons, and then there's a bunch of like anthropomorphized animal races that all fall under dragon to the rest of the world. But the dragons don't consider them dragons; they consider them something else. They have a name for it, but I don't remember what it is.
Half breed.
I was gonna say, "You half-breed, lousy motherfuckers."
But the
Mudblood.
main thing is you have like these two elven nations. There's no humans in this world. There's elves, which basically should be considered as humans with pointed ears. That's
I,
literally
the
what they are.
mayor of the nation of Keebler.
Yeah, pretty much.
My
So
name
there's
is
a North
John
Nation and a South
Fitzgerald
Nation,
Keebler.
John Fitzgerald.
don't get along.
Keebler.
and it follows the Dragon Tutor and the North Nation. The North and South Nation try to make an alliance, and the little boy prince and the little girl princess, who are absolutely adorable and not romantically entwined at all. And I'm not saying that in like a sarcastic way. I mean that legit. That's sort of the characters it follows. And then the other one I really like is Spellward Bound, which is about how do I concisely even describe that one? Guy drinks a weird soda pop, ends up getting zapped between these different magical worlds because the weird soda pop was filled with mana, which isn't supposed to exist on Earth, but it exists in other places, and it keeps trying to go back home.
Oh dear. I
So he's
found a
zipping back
magical
between
soda
Earth and
from the
other
ocean.
ones. And he can't exactly control when he teleports, so half the time he'll just be like in the middle of doing something and boop, he's somewhere else now, and he's like,
Oh man.
what the
Oh,
fuck?
that's gotta be awkward if he visits a brothel.
Well, he's awkwardly teleported into some interesting situations before,
Yeah.
but most of the time he's teleported somewhere pretty chill.
In the middle of an alleyway somewhere.
I think that's probably
Yeah.
enough.
The
For
middle
me,
of a
You
drug
can't
deal.
talk all day about my comics.
that's a lot that you read. Says me.
Yeah, I read
Yeah, it's Zeta's
Zeta's
turn.
gonna come up here and be like, I read this one, and this one. Here's a brief description of each, and we're done. And then Steve's gonna be
He's
like,
gonna-
awesome.
he's gonna-
The next 3 hours is me.
I mean, we are on page 3 of my script.
God damn it.
You know, technically that should be where it ends. I don't think there should be
So
6 pages.
Zeta, what do
Yeah,
you
so
read?
so I read Lore Olympus, Suitor Armor, and now I read Penguin Peeves.
Tell me about these things, Zeta. Why do you like them?
Penguin peeves. What is
I'm gonna
penguin
start with Penguin Peeves because I just started it a couple days ago and it's hilarious.
Don't know what this thing is.
Penguin Peeves is this person draws like this cute little like I mean you know the art style I'm talking about where it's like little kid kind of cartoon.
Chibi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it feels kind of like a chibi, but it's not quite so big head. And the idea is you have this penguin. The penguin's name is Naifu. He has a knife, and his response to anything he doesn't like is stab.
Are you serious about
Sounds
this?
like the penguin.
I am
from
absolutely serious. So it's like the first episode is alarm clock. He wakes up at 5:57 with his alarm going off at 6. And so his response is to become angry and stab phone.
Do you?
Is this
I've-
on Webtoon? Because I'm not finding
I've
it.
looked this up.
This
It
is on
It is.
This is on Webtoon.
I've looked it up.
On
Do you want me to
Canvas?
read? Do you want me to read the short blurb of a description that is given on Webtoon for this comic?
No, I'll do it since I'm talking about it.
Okay.
This is Naifu. He is a very relatable penguin who whips out his knife every time he comes across the slightest of inconveniences.
I mean, if that's not a relatable fucking penguin.
Listen.
Yeah, literally the top comment on almost every
soul.
single
My
episode is
soul.
hashtag relatable.
My spirit animal.
Yeah, it's basically your spirit animal. If you could get away with just stabbing anything that inconveniences you, you would be a penguin named Naifu.
I would not have a boss anymore.
See, I'm not finding it though. I'm looking up
Well,
penguin.
You were unworthy
I'm
then.
not getting. I'm not
Yeah.
getting it.
A heretic.
There was, and then so there's not much to talk about with Penguin Peeves. It's just Penguin Peeves. It's just Naifu stabbing things he doesn't like, and it's funny.
Mhm.
It's a very Sunday's comic kind of like few panels thing.
Here we go.
It's really funny that his
Um,
name is Naifu.
I got a kick out of that.
That is tickling me a bit. That his name is Naifu. I'm not
It's
gonna lie.
given me a little bit of a giggle.
A
It
little
is
bit of
gonna
a
be a bit of a
giggle,
giggle.
mate.
having
But
a
yeah,
giggle.
so then
Before we piss off the entirety of Britain, let's stop doing that.
I'm an American. I don't fucking care about
Yeah,
Britain's feelings.
I don't care about that. As long as I don't piss
Okay.
off the queen.
I drink tea whenever the hell I want. I don't schedule that shit.
Dude, facts.
I didn't even talk about Snafu comics for my bit.
I would prefer you didn't. Anyway, since we've passed your bit and it's on to my bit now, in September of last year, it's called Suitor Armor, which is a play on words, because it's about a suit of armor, and it is
He's a suit.
yeah,
And
he
it's
is a
like
suitor,
the
and
Full Metal Alchemist
Amor,
brother.
except way cooler looking, to be honest. He's like edgy. He's like the edgy one. But
My
yeah, no,
name
I
is
started reading it.
Greg. I stab
I
people.
actually started reading it because the initial cover image, the main protagonist, you just see hella curls, and I was just like, oh shit, I gotta check out what's up with these curls. Because if I have a weakness, it's a girl with curly hair.
Oh my gosh.
Impressive
And,
curls.
I need to inspect
Yeah.
these curls.
So yeah, I must
That's only
inspect
been
this
said.
girl's
That's
curls.
only been said 60 times in the back of a Jack in the Box.
Yo, don't get me started on Jack in the Box curly fries.
So we're talking about suitor armor.
Jack in the Box curly fries.
So it's this fantasy setting. It's this fantasy setting webtoon. It's really cool. It's about this girl whose name is Lucia, and she is a fairy living as a human, and she discovers that there is, I guess, I don't know really how I would describe him other than animated armor. But since it's a fantasy setting, you have like a king and a court mage, and the court mage has built this weapon, as they call it, and it's she gets to name it, and she names him Modius, which is a whole other thing. But yeah, it's about like him becoming awake, so to speak, and like because
Oh,
when he
without
first
that.
starts out, he's like a remote control suit of armor weapon. But then, like as the comic goes on, like he becomes conscious and he like starts learning how to speak and whatnot. I'm a couple episodes behind. I'm in fact 3 episodes down. It's
Okay.
at the point where I'm in the story because again I'm 3 episodes behind. It's not like explicitly stated that like Lucia has feelings for Modius or Modius has feelings for Lucia, but I mean it's under romance, so it's probably going to go that way. But
I love
it's
a
Called
robot.
Tutor armor.
it is
I do
it
want to
isn't
point
it.
out that for my segment, I was like, here's a whole bunch of comics from a bunch of different genres, and
Zeta.
it was like romance, stabbing alarm clocks.
It's just like every teenage girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. romance, stabbing alarm clocks. Well, see, the thing is,
Romance, love, a
if I
penguin
want
with a
action,
knife.
I have. If I want action, I have so many video games.
Yes, and yet you play Dark Souls.
And if you want disappointment,
Yeah.
you have Destiny 2.
Because I enjoy Dark Souls.
No, Destiny is its own episode. We'll talk about that at another
Yeah.
time.
We
Souls.
will get to that another time,
Dark
and I
Souls
will.
Dark Souls is also its own episode. We'll get to that another time.
Yeah, RGB's vitriol for Dark Souls does not match my vitriol for Destiny, but we'll get to that another time.
Oh,
I think you guys use the word vitriol too much.
I know exactly what it means, and it is
Well, I was
perfectly
gonna say, like, we
appropriate
know
for
what it
this situation.
means, so we
I
use
know what
it,
it
and
means,
it works.
but like, you gotta broaden your vocabulary. You can't just say
My
one thing
my
one same way.
My
vast,
lexicon is
unquenchable
quite
rage
expensive.
towards Destiny's retarded decisions.
Lexicon is just
Would that
letters.
work
Your
better?
fucking vocabulary, dog.
Whatever.
Okay. If you're watching the tutorial, you probably already know about Lore Olympus because Lore Olympus is super fucking popular. But it is a modernized telling of the taking of Persephone. And I don't even know what else to tell you other than go fucking read it. It's amazing. It's well written. The art is incredible.
It's brilliant.
I'm also 3 episodes behind on that because I've had priorities the last this whole month. But yeah, like I don't even want to spend time talking about it because I just want to tell you if you're listening to this and for some reason you have not read Lore Olympus and you're like maybe one day I'll read something romance, go fucking read Lore Olympus. It's good and it is. It is
so
rom-com. So if you're even like open to comedy, because it is honestly more comedy than it is romance, but there's so many just genuinely there's so many genuinely positive things about it. Like in a world where people argue about toxic masculinity versus positive masculinity, Hades, and it's ironic because he's like categorized throughout history as the bad guy. Hades is like a genuine example of how to have positive masculinity in the modern age. Because like there's nothing emasculine about
Meanwhile,
Hades.
Apollo
He's
is
masculine as fuck.
every piece of
Apollo is
Apollo
Apollo is a titanic piece of trash.
He's garbage.
If you do go read this, you will notice in the comics that nobody refers to him as Apollo and everybody refers to him as Ass Apollo, which I think is still too good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying Assassin's Creed.
It's
low hanging fruit.
It's pretty low hanging fruit.
Just real quick to insert a thing. There's a webcomic called The Remarried Empress, and there's a character named Rashta, and she's garbage too, and everyone in the comments refers to her as Trashta.
Trashta. But yeah, so as you can tell, super creative people.
Yeah.
The creator of the comics, though, like
to be fair, I feel you.
Zeta. I'm like legitimately upset that Lore Olympus.
Do that again now, but I feel you on like it's so fucking. It's hard to like talk about these because you're like I want to talk all about it, but I also don't want to spoil everything for people who might
Well,
want.
no, it's not difficult. It's not difficult for me to talk about a story without spoiling
It's-
any of the plot.
In this
I
case,
can tell you about like the world instead of the story, and entice you to like go read it because it's really good.
In this case, I absolutely get it. What he's doing is like, I'm such a nerd for Lore Olympus that I could sit here and tell you about it for the next hour, but it'd be more productive if
Yeah.
you just went and read it.
It would be more productive if you spent an hour reading Lore Olympus, because I will straight up simp for Lore Olympus.
Yeah,
That
It's
is the
good.
one thing I will simp for.
it's good.
But yeah, like it
See, 'cause I didn't even comprehend
exploded in
that,
popularity. It
Because-
exploded in popularity. It is, I think, the one thing that like really put Webtoon on the map for a lot of people that didn't even realize it existed. Because I have never seen anybody cosplay Webtoon characters until people started cosplaying Lore Olympus characters. It is getting novelized now as well, so we'll have like a more
Yeah.
expanded version of the story. But I'm a little upset that Sweet Home gets a Netflix adaptation and Lore Olympus doesn't have like an animated version or like a live action version or what have you. But like,
But there's hope.
yeah, there's if it's getting a novelized version. I mean, it's like 127 something episodes.
It's a
It's
lot.
not going anywhere anytime soon, unless the story comes to an end. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I mean,
for
the taking of
probably-
Persephone does end at some point.
Considering
Yeah.
the most recent episode, no, we're about to start a whole fucking
A new arc.
of
Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm 3 weeks behind, so don't spoil it for me, yo.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, based on that information, it looks
So,
like
yeah,
we're starting
so-
a whole new thing. You're
So, yeah.
done. Yeah.
Go read Lore Olympus. Yeah, I mean, unless you wanted me to talk about Zomcom and the Little Trash Maid, but I guess I read 4.
The Little
I
Trash
read
Maid's
the Little
great.
Trash Maid.
Little,
Talk about
little
the Little
Trash
Trash
Maid's
Maid.
adorable.
Yeah,
Come on.
the Little Trash Maid is adorable, but like it started out as sort of like a PSA of like clean up the fucking oceans, and it just sort of like, because it got popular because it's like a really cutesy art style, and it's just like, hi, she's adorable. It has kind of turned into just like, you know, a comic, and it's interesting because its strength is that there's no dialogue. There's no
Yeah.
word, but it's
Yeah.
still like there doesn't have to be. You sort of fill it in your head. But yeah, no, Little Trash Maid's really good, and I quite enjoy
I never
it.
thought of the Little Trash Maid as like a PSA on cleaning the ocean. Like,
Well, that's
obviously
that's
they're
literally how it
using-
started.
That's sort of how it began. Yeah.
They're using
Yeah.
they're using the fact that the ocean does get a lot of garbage dumped into it as like a starter, like a kickstart to the story. But it never felt like they was telling people you shouldn't do that, even though you shouldn't.
I mean, again, there's no like dialogue, so no, they're not telling people, but they show examples of things like people cleaning up the beach, or like pulling things out of the, or her reacting poorly to people throwing waste into the ocean.
Or her pulling
Or
a
her
whole ass line of paper
father's
clips out of her
entire
hair, and
Out of her
that's
hair,
her entire
and
hair.
with throat.
And her
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh,
father's
that
entire
bothers me
terrible
so much. When it's like, I'm gonna
existence.
just I pull a plastic straw out of my throat. I'm like,
Yeah. I saw that video where they pulled a plastic straw out of this turtle's nose, and so when I read the comic and she did that, I was like, oh, this hurts my brain.
Yeah.
And in the most recent
Physically.
episodes, these two humans she's made friends with show her the Little Mermaid and freak her the fuck out.
Yeah, because Ursula do be scary though.
She goes on a power trip.
Yeah, because she wants to kill the octopus.
She wants to kill Ursula,
Yeah.
but there's no Ursula. All right, so that's
That's pretty
those are. I mean, I've also read Sweet Home. I've also read Ragnarok. I've also read, that's an old one.
Oh,
I read what
I
other
forgot
ones I've
about
read to completion. I
Ragnarok.
read Toaster Dude.
Ragnarok's
I
amazing.
read. God damn, I have no way to go back and check history, but there's several that I've read that have already been finished, and I have since stopped reading. But yeah, the two most memorable for me are Sweet Home and Ragnarok. Ragnarok was the very first webtoon I ever read.
You
Sweet
mentioned
Home.
Zomcom. Can I just say for a brief moment, like Axe was an amazing. Axe is made
Oh,
by the
yeah.
same people who make Zomcom.
Axe was
was
great.
an amazing
Axelia is
thing.
fucking
and it was
hot.
like,
All right.
So
Yeah.
like the
Her
comedy of it was so
shapeshifter
great.
friend is hotter though.
I did not expect it to turn so fucking dead serious at the end. Like,
Yeah, no, like it was
there
like super
there was
inconsistent
no
and like
comedy.
crazy memey and stuff, and then we get to the final episodes, and I'm like, why you gotta like jump me
Yeah,
and mug
like,
me
oh,
from my
you
heart?
just
like this?
punch
the
me in
writer,
the
the
gut,
writer was like, "Have you enjoyed the ride? Now it's time to put on the fucking feels knuckles and punch the shit out of you."
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
mugged for my
exactly.
feelings. I got mugged for my feelings.
That shit. I mean, it was really good, but
But yeah, RGB just said a minute ago, I don't know if you caught it because you were talking, that Excelia is hot. I will put forth that Kaylee is hotter.
God damn, Excelia is fucking hot, bro.
Kaylee's way
Kalia
hotter.
is the
That's
She's the
shapeshifter.
shapeshifter. No, she's a shapeshifter, and the Ent is technically non-binary.
I'm unclear on the Ent situation, but that's okay.
Use the Ent. I'm just saying an Ent because I know it's not like an actual Ent, but I don't know what exactly.
They're like a
species it
weird,
is.
like
Some sort of
beer person.
forest, some
I
kind
was,
of
I was gonna
forest
say
druid.
but you
But
made her
they use
heavily
non-binary
insinuated to be
pronouns.
her parents at one point in the comics.
No,
It's
no,
very
that is a
clear there's
joke.
male and
It's a
female.
joke. It is like lol. It looks like this was what would happen if Beast and Belle had a baby while he was still Beast. That is straight up the joke because again, nothing about that series is serious or consistent
Yeah,
until
I
like the
think
last
Until the
5
end.
episodes.
I think it sums it up pretty well that there's a point where Excelia is going to like hunt down a ghost or something, and she walks in on a cult of people who are about to sacrifice somebody, and just goes, "Do you have a license for that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they all
100%.
proceed to hold up a license, including the human sacrifice.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay, dope.
And she's
Yeah.
like,
All
"All
good
right,
here. All good in the hood.
Yep.
please continue.
Yeah,
This is where the magic happens."
that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. And Axe, yeah, Axe is another series that has gone to completion as well. The over like super over the top Scottish Loch Ness monster.
Oh man, but you see that was actually another feels moment. Her backstory was like,
Oh yeah,
That actually made me cry. That actually like unironically made me cry.
that hurt a little bit.
I was just like, bro, that's so
Just a
sad
bit,
because like I'm trying to start a family, so that the feeling of like the context of what was happening there, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go lay down and cry for a couple hours now.
lay down, try not to cry a lot.
those shiny
Yeah.
rocks, bro.
Them shiny rocks, bro. Them shiny rocks.
Sad face.
All right, so I just wanted to like mention
Tiny rock.
that shit because I was like, well, really quick.
All right, so now we have 157 more to go. 'Cause I'm sure I covered ones that RGB
Look.
already reads.
I'm not going to talk about every single one.
Thank God.
Just list them.
It's hard because even though
Just
like,
list them
'cause
and
I
you'll take up
talked
more
about-
time.
I was gonna
really
say like
don't.
I talked about some of my favorites and I'm even looking at my subscribed list and just going, oh, but there's this one. Oh, but there's that one. Oh, but there's this
Yeah.
one too.
Oh, if I
And
did
it's like,
that,
I don't
dude,
have
if
time
I
to talk
did
about
that, this would be a much longer show. But no, I've boiled it down to my top 5, which aren't in any particular order except for number 1.
Which is Lore Olympus, right?
No.
No.
You are objectively wrong, sir.
That's okay. You can have your opinions, Zeta. It's fine.
Yeah, I can have my opinion. I can have my cake and eat it too.
also, just
because
to-
this is my
just
house
to-
and you can't stop me.
Just to throw a moment of context in here, I do this thing where like when I read stories, I refer to myself as like eating them. So I'm like, that's a tasty, delicious story.
I mean, you don't gotta make it weird though.
Weird.
Yeah. Tasty, delicious story. Not all of us are into vor. Oh my god.
That's not even. That's not even.
Woo! That goes on
also,
tunics
as the one who
and,
brought it up,
tappy
I'm just gonna make
tunes.
some assumptions, but that's okay. So anyway, my top 5.
All right, moving on.
my top 5 here that I've written a lot about. So I've in my number 5
There we
spot here, I've got Hooky. Hooky.
Oh, Hookie's brilliant.
Hookie's fucking
I've never heard of it.
amazing, bro. Well, let me tell
Never
you
heard of
about
it.
it. Let me tell you about it. Hooky. Hooky was created in... Wow, Zeta. Thanks for opening your entire fucking pantry full of snacks right as I'm talking.
I was closing a bag of
You know,
sugar,
you
and
could
I
be
thought I was
nice.
muted.
I did not bitch at you guys. I just sighed and shut the fuck up until everything was done.
Yeah, I know. But if I don't call him out, then I feel like an ass about it. So anyway,
Okay, I'll
Okay.
mute myself while I'm handling coffee.
Hooky was created in March of 2015 by, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, Miriam Bonostrateur. That's my best
That
approximation.
sounds butchered as fuck.
I believe it's a she, is an art student from Spain. The series finished in January of 2020, so not even that long ago. There's currently a printed series in the works that's set to release in September of 2021. Just to sort of give you a basis here.
I will buy it.
Hang on, I just
was thinking the same
realized
thing.
I didn't shout out the authors of any of mine. Do we want to like shout out the authors at the end? So
I
we can be
mean,
like, these
you
are the
can't.
authors of the ones that we talked about.
You can if you want to get that ready.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I'll do
When
that.
I look up Hooky, I only get 21 episodes of it.
Yeah, because it moved to Daily Pass because it completed.
Mm.
And
That's why
and
fucking Sweet Home is. I can't access all of it anymore.
And here's the real kicker to that I didn't mention earlier that really sucks about Daily Pass is the fact that on the computer you can read those 21 episodes of Hooky and then no more, and you can't do Daily Pass unless you're on the mobile app.
That really does suck.
Yeah,
Pretty
that
exclusive.
that
sucks
sucks
massively.
ass.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really don't like about it. Yeah.
That really sucks ass. But I did read Hooky.
But
so continue.
but Hooky is getting like I said, it's getting a printed version in September 2021. So yeah, so if you're interested, you could pick that up and have a look through it. So Hooky follows the exploits of Danny and Dorian Witt, a pair of twin witches who are sent off to wit school, but on their first day, gasp, they miss the bus. Not wanting to disappoint their parents, they quickly scramble to find a magical tutor and eventually end up at the home of Pendragon, who is a retired clairvoyant witch looking for apprentices. Eventually, through a series of mishaps and the far-reaching implications of what?
Pendragon wasn't really looking for apprentices, is what I was trying to say.
Dude, did you miss the part where he was like, he literally put a big fucking neon sign that said retired clairvoyant looking for apprentices?
I missed that part because I haven't read the comics.
Refuses them when they show up.
Well, don't spoil it now.
Okay, fine. I don't remember him actually wanting apprentices.
Go back and read it again. Anyway.
Moving on.
Eventually, through a series of mishaps and the far-reaching implications of a daunting prophecy, the twins end up being hunted by their own kind who are seeking the next Witch King. With the help of their new friends, a princess named Monica, a cafe employee named Mark, and Pendragon's adopted son Nico, the twins must go on a journey to clear their names and stop the prophecy from tearing their world apart.
Is Nico actually his adopted son?
Nico is actually his adopted son, yes.
Huh, I did not know that.
Hooky is an absolutely brilliant series. The characters are very well written and very relatable. The art style is fucking adorable as fuck. The story had me hooked really quickly, and it took me on a wild ride of emotions. It's super good. I very much recommend looking into it if I got you at all interested with that description. It can be found on Webtoon if you look up Hooky. And the artist Miriam also has a Twitter and an Instagram and a DeviantArt page if you feel so inclined to look those up.
An anime style time skip at one point.
It does, yeah. Not going to say too much about that, but go read it.
Well, no, I don't feel like that's a spoiler, but saying what happens in the time skip,
Yeah.
that would be spoilery.
Yeah.
That would be spoiler territory.
Yeah. That's my number 5 spot. I like Hooky a lot. It's very, very much worth it.
Number 5.
This is not the most extreme.
The most extreme.
Extreme. What a show. Moving on.
That just ages us. That ages us a lot. Anyway.
It does.
Y'all are
Anyone
old.
who watched is gonna be like, "Oh man, ancient history."
That, or they're going to be young enough that they're going to be like, the fuck is that?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Ringo.
Is Ringo even still here? He
He
hasn't
is.
said anything
Bruh.
for an hour.
He is.
Are you deaf?
He's been here the whole time. You just haven't heard him because you talk too loudly. Anyway, my number 4.
I'm also self-conscious and bad.
Oh, don't. I'm just being a fucktard. So number 4. Number 4, Sleepless Domain. That's a one. That's a one. you can clearly hear Dave's disdain for it. So
I'm
Sleepless
not a fan of
Domain.
magical girl stuff.
Sleepless
and I've heard
Domain.
lots of good stuff about it, but it's one of those I can't get past the whole like, let's do a dance and a girl transformation. I just can't.
I mean, some people are into that. There is a market for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
First of
I
all,
totally understand. I don't understand why,
Second of
but
all-
I understand the market exists.
second of all, you probably saw the first and only really detailed magical girl transformation in the whole series and went, no, fuck this.
Well, I'll just be honest. I see magical girl transformation, and I'm literally.
Yeah, they pretty much do it one time, and then after that, it's just like a jump cut every time. But anyway, Sleepless Domain, as you may have guessed, is a magical girl webcomic that was started in 2015 by Mary Cagle, aka Cube, who's an American artist who's already well known for her other series, Kiwi Blitz, which we talked about a little bit earlier.
I really need to pee.
So go pee.
So
Don't let
go
me stop
pee.
you.
I'm gonna go do that real quick.
Okay.
The fuck?
I'll be right
This,
back.
this ain't high school. Go to the bathroom if you gotta take a piss. Jeez.
Y'all want to hear?
No.
Then shut up.
So the first 2 chapters of Sleepless Domain were drawn by Oscar Vega, and then Mary Cagle took over after that. And the series is edited by someone named JoJo, who's apparently the head of Hiveworks, but I can't find any information on this person. As well
Is
as
it a JoJo reference?
it may be, as well as Isabel Melancon, who's a part of the team behind another webcomic called Namesake. And between all those people, we get the wonderful beauty that is Sleepless Domain, which is still being updated to this day. Though at the time of recording this, it's on like a 3-week hiatus, and I think it's on like the last week of that. Anyway, Sleepless Domain follows the story of Undyne Wells, also known as Alchemical Water, a teenage magical girl who is part of Team Alchemical, a team of magical girls, as you may have guessed, along with the other magical girls.
I never would have.
Along with the other magical girls in the city, it is their duty as the heroes of what may be humanity's last bastion of hope to roam the streets every night and fight the shadows that threaten to overrun the city. But one night in particular, tragedy strikes Team Alchemical, and now Undyne must discover the cause of the tragedy while dealing with its fucking, honestly, really horribly devastating effects. Along the way, she enlists...
Hold on. Undyne has not been mentioned until you just now said the name.
Yes, you
Yeah.
was. I said it's the story of... I said it's the story of Undyne Wells. You just weren't listening.
I'm just sitting here like, Undyne, like, Undertale?
Don't you fucking say it.
See, that's where we lost him, because
Officially.
the second you say Undyne, he goes, Undertale.
He just starts going.
That's
No,
playing while all
Undyne's
of
thing
the
isn't regular,
R34
yeah.
images, he's looked up of Undyne, play in his head.
Undone? He's just choke me, mommy, over and over again.
Yeah.
I hate you sticking me in this situation because if I'm like, no, I don't do that, then I just look like I did it.
You've done it to yourself, really.
Yeah, you have done that to yourself.
You spaced out for like 3 paragraphs.
As soon as we
No,
fucking said
I heard
Undyne.
you were talking about the shadows of the night and
No, because as soon as
Yeah,
you
you were
said
dreaming
Undyne,
about
you
Undyne.
you started having your fucking Undertale PTSD visions, and we
You're
just
so
lost you.
fucking precious when you're fish.
See, here's the thing that's interesting. Your description of that is actually way more accurate than Zeta's description, because I did go into Undertale fever when it came out, and I've been off of that for a long time. And good God, I'd really love it if it would just disappear and never come back.
Well, that's great. So I'm gonna keep talking about
Post nut
Sleepless Domain
clarity.
now. Yeah.
Fuck off, Zeta.
Okay, so along the way, she enlists the help of another magical girl named Heartful Punch, which is honestly my favorite name.
That sounds like a
Super
K-pop.
creative.
That sounds like a K-pop sweetheart that I would listen to.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
Heartful
that sounds like
Punch.
what the fuck.
She's
Sugar whatever.
Heartful Punch is a
I don't
lone
know,
wolf.
that one girl. It's that one like. Fuck it. Keep going.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Heartful Punch
There's
is
a
a lone
movie.
wolf. But she decides to team up with Undyne because reasons. And the two begin to investigate the bigger mysteries of these mysterious shadows who threaten the world each night. Sleepless Domain. Oh boy, that really quickly became one of my favorite webcomics. Like really, like very shortly after I started reading it.
Does that have a similar vibe to Madoka Magica?
Is that the one where a lot of people get murdered all the time?
I'm unclear because I've never actually watched Madoka Magica.
Me
because
neither.
Of my same problem with magical girls and magical girl transformations, but and I just want to clarify for anyone who's listening, that's not me trying to like say that I'm not into a thing when I'm into a thing. To me, that shit's just really childish, and I hate it.
Wow,
But
Meanwhile,
I've read
you just
the
never watched Powerpuff
descriptions.
Girls.
Meanwhile, my wife is
No,
like,
I
let's
didn't.
watch Sailor Moon. And I was like, you know what? I enjoy Dragon Ball Z. Fuck it.
Anyway,
I'm
what I was
literally
gonna
fuzzy
say,
lumpkins, so
what I was gonna say was like I've read descriptions like of the story. I have a general idea of what the plot is, and the plot sounds fucking awesome. I just can't watch it because it's an anime girl.
Because you've got mental issues.
because anime girls.
Thing.
dude,
I've got the power of God and anime on my side.
I got
Why
the
is
power
there
of
an issue with
anime girls? I have
propane
an
and
issue with magical
propane
girls.
accessories on my side.
I don't understand how this is an issue for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know
really
what?
matter.
I don't really either. It just is.
It doesn't
I
really
hate
matter.
It. I can't tell you why.
That's
I
just
hate
his
it.
own.
It just
That's
is.
just his own thing. He replaces magical girls with furries in his head, so it's fine.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of a furry magical girl.
Oh,
I
no,
really
please
don't.
I mean,
really
shit.
don't.
I would.
They're both.
I believe
bad,
you've
but
just-
they're-
that would
You've just
pique my
uncovered a
interest.
new market that I am definitely going to capitalize on.
That would certainly pique my interest. I don't know how long it would keep my interest, but
Not very long.
That would pique something else, if you know what I'm talking about.
wow. Says the
No,
married.
no,
Says
no.
the married guy. Anyway.
Yes, this is the American. You know, my wife and I had an hour-long discussion yesterday about how we both found Lola Bunny really fucking sexy.
Something's wrong with y'all.
We could talk
Y'all
about
need
that
Jesus.
another time.
See, I'm like legit
Y'all need
envious about
Jesus.
that.
All right. So
Just having somebody
basically,
you could talk to about that.
this webcomic, it has one of those emotional roller coaster things where it
We're still talking
really
about
puts you
this,
through the
huh?
ringer. But more importantly, it has two of my favorite things: mystery and gay drama.
Oh no.
Oh goody.
But seriously, Mary Cagle does an excellent job of making you feel for the characters, and for their varying personal dilemmas that they go through. She also has this big mystery that's running in the background of the story, and it makes me. I really want to know what's going on there. Like, it's really interesting to me. Not to mention the art style.
Isn't that like
on point.
Quick question: Is Sleepless Domain actually written by her?
I don't.
He got to that a minute
know.
ago.
I'm pretty sure
Because,
yes.
and the reason I'm asking is just because I know that as someone who read Kiwi Blitz as it was updating, she talked about Sleepless Domain as she started working on it, but it sounded from that point of view more like it was an already existent thing and she joined the team.
That's exactly what he said a minute ago.
More or less.
But then she didn't write it; somebody else did.
I'm not 100% clear on that one.
Okay.
But if it sounds interesting to you at all, you can find it. You can find it on Hiveworks or just by going to sleeplessdomain.com if you're interested. Mary Cagle also has a Twitter, and there's also one for the Sleepless Domain team as well. My number 3 spot for webcomics is Muted. I don't know if anybody's seen that one around Webtoons.
Nope.
I've heard that name. Hold on.
That's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Muted. Now that's...
That looks really familiar.
That's a tasty story
I feel
right
like
there.
I probably read that a long ass time ago.
It did start
when
out.
It wasn't anywhere near as big.
Yeah, it started out on Canvas actually.
Isn't Canvas like proto Webtoon? It's like the Greenlight version.
Yeah, Canvas has the poster thing here, and if people like it enough, we'll fund it into a full.
Into a full series. I've only read like the first 6 or 7 chapters of it because that's all that was back when I read it.
So Muted is created by Miranda Munt, and is originally it started in August of 2018 as a Webtoon Canvas comic, which I think back then it might have been called Webtoon Discover, because it used to be it was called that originally.
Canvas is a much more recent name.
And like I said before, Canvas is basically it's just the platform for anyone and everyone to upload a comic. And usually, if it does well enough, Webtoon will pay to make it a full-time original series. And that's
so if you got a comic you want, go write that shit, put it on
try
Canvas.
It out. And also, there is a whole Reddit. There's a whole subreddit for that where like people post all the time, like, "Hey, I'm a writer and I'm looking for an artist," or the other way around.
Hey, I'm an artist and I'm looking. Please pay me.
Yeah, basically.
Honestly, artists are some of the most undervalued members of society when it comes to like people that draw things.
I just that statement was funny.
There's
Please pay me. I need to make rent this month.
Like I said, artists gotta eat, man. There is a whole subreddit called
You can't eat exposure.
There's also a whole subreddit called Hungry Artists.
Not that it would be very good for you, but you can eat ink.
There's a subreddit called Hungry Artists where it's just a bunch of artists looking for commissions.
I should go visit that because I got things I need drawn.
Damn,
you should.
I didn't know these existed. I would have popped onto that a lot sooner.
Oh yeah, you should go.
I've got ideas.
Go look into that stuff. It's well worth it.
I don't like giving people my money.
I do because I live in a society where money has to move for society to continue.
True.
Like I get where not Zeta Ringo's coming from, but at the same time, it's if you do want to have something made.
Dude, I make like $800 a month. That's like nothing. I can't even live on my
money is literally meant to be spent.
Money is
like
just
that's
a middle
what
man.
It exists for.
You sound like a rich man right now.
No, that's literally what it exists for. You don't have money to have money.
Okay,
you have money to get goods and or services.
All right, okay. Calm down.
Don't tell me not to spend my money.
We're talking about webcomics, my guy.
I hate economy.
We're not talking about the economy. We're talking about webcomics.
Where's that picture from earlier where it says, "Ew, it got political"?
Yeah.
That's not even my political standpoint. It's just don't tell me not to spend money. It's also because I'm prepping to DM a campaign with a bunch of tight pockets.
So basically, in 2019, March of 2019, Muted became a full-time, like a Webtoon original, fully funded, etc.
And I was all like, "Oh, here's my favorite comics, and here's a basic idea of what they're about." And you're like, "Here's all the information from the day
Yep.
that they were first conceived to
Yep.
the day that they are tonight.
Uh-huh.
This is the
Well, because he
artist,
has
all
6
time,
pages
yada,
this
yada,
shit.
Yes.
What
Exactly.
page are
I
we on,
told
by the
you
way?
I wrote a script. We're currently on page 4.
God damn.
Yep. So if you guys would let me talk, we could get through this a lot faster.
Okay.
So it's around. It was around for
If
about
I must.
7 months before it became a webtoon-funded original comic, which personally I think speaks volumes about its quality. Muted tells the story of Camille Severin, who is an aspiring young witch and a member of the prestigious Severin family. They're a family of noble.
I'm starting to
witches.
see a pattern here.
Yes, and the pattern will continue. They're a family of noble witches, well steeped in tradition and well known as conjurers, mostly of demonic entities which they control. On the
That
night-
sounds less likely because I'm a
Yeah.
good Christian boy.
Okay. Sure. I believe that.
I'm a good Christian boy. I had an hour-long conversation with my wife about how hot Lola Bunny is. Them rabbit thighs make me want to proselytize.
Rabbit stew, if you know what I mean.
It's time to pray.
Father, forgive me, for I have sinned.
Oh,
I'll
no.
fucking do it again.
Okay.
Ugh.
Right, so now that we are done talking about my hedonism,
Your
So,
heresy.
so anyway, on the night of her 21st birthday, Camille and her sister Aveline, they're set up to perform their family ritual and summon their demon familiars, which, you know, don't question that. It's just a thing.
I'm having a hard time.
Something, as you
Do
may
you have
have...
to bring up Lola Bunny again, bro?
As you... No, please don't.
No, then I'll be having a different kind of hard time.
As you may
You have lost
wondered-
the authority here.
You really have.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel bad for you, man.
He's like, really? Watch this. Hits the mute button on me.
Authority has been handed over to Lola Bunny.
Okay, so the Berserk manga.
Is the most successful video game of the past 10 years.
Oh.
All right. So as you may have been able to predict, what with, you know, demonic rituals and whatnot, something
Shit goes wrong.
wrong with her ceremony. It causes her to be unable to complete the ritual, which of course
Everything in me is about to go full Warhammer.
it uses her blood. The ritual. So yeah.
Ugh,
So
even more Warhammer.
after this incident,
Just, you know, some wholesome family activities.
yes, summoning demons in the woods.
Summoning demons with your blood.
Sorry, Sliders. Scrabble. Summoning demons in the woods.
Yeah,
With your blood specifically.
wholesome
fun for the whole family.
activities. Yep.
Wholesome family activities.
After this incident, Camille begins to discover the truth behind her heritage and the secrets her family does not want her
Shit's
to know.
fucked. That shit's fucked.
Secrets.
Fact, she has
Secrets. It
legitimate-
actually has not a whole lot to
legitimate
do with the
fucking
demons.
demons.
The demons are like side hoes in this story. They're not very important.
Tell that to the God Emperor of mankind.
Secrets that wow, that's just a cat, bro. That's just a cat.
You know, in the real world, it definitely is.
Secrets that make her question herself and that threaten to throw
Her
the magical world.
freaky family practices.
It also threatens to throw the magical world into fucking absolute chaos. I
That's what you get for parlaying with demons.
I
Nah, just let it happen.
love this comic. Seriously, there's so much tasty drama in it, and it's the best kind. It's the kind that'll have you sitting on the couch at 2 a.m. crying because how dare they do that to your favorite character?
Lame.
I don't. do that.
Yeah, yeah. I cry when people are like,
Oh, no. Very spoilers. Bad. No, Zeta, bad. Don't do so.
Spoilers.
For real. I'm gonna have to cut that out.
yeah.
Does it even
Well, I know you got the
Yeah,
magic of editing and not the magic of demon summoning, so.
But seriously,
I don't even know if anyone listening would put those two together because it's been so long.
You don't know if I summon demons to help me edit.
You probably do,
Good point.
but pretty much anybody who has a Reddit account is basically a demon, so.
Yeah, thanks.
What if I have a
He's a
Reddit
demon who
account that I
summons
never
more
use?
demons.
Does it still make me a demon?
Yes,
Wow.
thou
yeah.
hast sinned.
Anyway, though, the characters really shine in this one. They're very well written. Each one feels like they have their own life and their own joys and worries, and it's very easy to get drawn into their stories. And the comic also deals with a lot of like mental
You
disorders.
just made a horrible pun, and you didn't even realize it.
Yeah, probably. The comic also deals with mental disorders stemming from childhood trauma.
From summoning fucking demons!
You're not entirely wrong about that part, but like in their childhood. And this
It's
one,
childhood trauma from mental things. Yeah, I wonder if it has to do with the summoning of demons.
It's more bad parenting than summoning demons, but
Yeah.
this one, I mean, you're already
Exceptionally bad
if you're
parenting.
summoning demons. Just throwing that out there.
It's more bad parenting than summoning demons. Nah, summoning demons is totally wholesome, normal, okay parenting.
Yeah, wholesome family activity. It's fun for the whole family.
Look, man,
Ages 6 and up.
I'm just
Road
saying,
trip?
this whole thing is set in
Camping in the woods?
Louisiana, all right?
Sacrificing your
I don't know
cousin?
what counts as.
Are you
wholesome
fucking
family
serious?
fun.
It's set in
Yes,
Louisiana?
It's Louisiana. I
Oh
don't know
my
what counts
God,
as
that's
wholesome family fun in
perfect.
Louisiana.
It's so much better.
Yeah, it's
Jesus Christ.
it really is.
Definitely not.
It is one
It's
of
the
those,
opposite.
Like, it is one of those like, oh, you got these witches walking around the city, and then they go to the fucking swamp and there's gators and shit, and it's like, what the fuck, bro?
What are the regular swamp folk?
One of them regular swamp folk.
But this one's a little bit more serious and dramatic than the other two I've mentioned. But I love it all the same.
Yeah, serious and dramatic.
Uh,
We totally did that justice
Yep,
right now.
yep. We've made the most jokes about this.
Just
I
ignore it.
recommend giving this comic a look if you are at all interested. You can find Miranda Munt on Twitter if you want to see more of her stuff that she draws. I am about to say something that's going to make every other person in this entire call fucking cringe, but here we go. My number 2 spot. Number two. Are y'all ready for this one? Because I don't think you are.
Well, you're assuming I'm gonna cringe. So. If it's worse than I summon demons with my family.
Mage and Demon Queen.
Okay, and now I'm cringing.
Oh, is that the one with the fucking ads on YouTube where it makes like the little Mario
Yes,
coin
it
noise and it says +1 gay?
Yes, it is.
Plus
That is
one
the
gay?
Stupidest fucking
Oh,
ad
The
I have
mage and
ever
the demon
fucking
queen are
seen.
both women,
Ma-
and the demon
It is
queen
the
really wants to fuck the mage.
Stupidest fucking
No,
ad I
other
have
way,
ever
other way
seen.
around, sir.
The
Other way
mage
around.
wants to fuck the demon queen.
The mage
Oh, is
wants
it the
to
other
fuck
way?
the demon queen. Yep.
Oh my bad. One of them really wants to fuck the other one, and the other one is like, just go away.
Yeah.
So what you're saying- so what you're saying-
Hour.
So what you're saying is it's Choke Me Mommy, the webtoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Gay edition.
Yes.
Mage and Demon Queen is a romance, drama, action webcomic started in 2018 by an artist called Colorless, which is an artist from the Philippines. It's also,
Oh, of course.
for sure, one of my all-time favorites, hence its presence on this list. Mage and Demon
Because
Queen.
it's super gay.
It's actually less because it's gay and more because it's goddamned hilarious. It really is.
Well,
Because
to be
it's
honest,
gay.
Funny.
That scenario is definitely.
And
funny
also
enough.
the fact that her best guy friend is just like, why are you dragging me along into this shit? And it's so funny.
I will say that I do appreciate that LGBT humor is now becoming more evolved, so it doesn't come across as that cringy 90s Christian humor.
Or worse.
Mage and Demon Queen is the story of Mallory Crowett. Wow. It's the story of Mallory Crowett,
Sorry, I just had to snort my
mage.
cocaine.
top mage student in the kingdom of Faustina. She's one of the best adventurers in the kingdom, and of course,
Faustina, as opposed to True Tina.
and of course, since Faustina is at war with the demons, it's the duty of all adventurers to challenge the demon tower and try to defeat the demon queen Velverosa. But Mallory has a secret.
Okay, I admit that's a dope ass name.
It
for the
is
She
a
wants to
pretty
defeat
cool
her in
name.
bed.
Yeah,
that's a
she
pretty cool
does
name.
want to defeat her in bed. She's secretly in love with Velverosa. Mallory and her best friend Sarek, who is usually dragged into her shenanigans without consent, they continue to challenge.
I'm so glad you put it that way.
Without consent.
Yeah,
Without consent.
Just,
they continue to
that makes
challenge
it
the demon
so
tower.
much more-
And just as a point of order, because this isn't really spoiling anything because it's in episode 1, but like you find out really quickly that Mallory will charge the fuck into the demon tower and just try to go beat the queen and be like, "Love me, your majesty," and then she'll die and she has no money, so Sarek has to revive her every single time because he's fucking loaded.
Yeah, get yourself a rich best friend who will pay for your ass to get resurrected so you can horny
Okay,
simp on
I-
a
can I
woman
ask a
who doesn't
serious
want
question
you.
On that note, though, how many times do you have to do that before the guy's like, "Fuck it, I'm done. I'm not paying for your bullshit."
He does do
Well,
that.
because
at
he
some
would feel
point.
bad.
He does
Hey,
do
if
that.
you
at
die
some
again,
point.
I'm not buying your. not. What a capitalist thing to say.
Put
I'm
that
going to
candy
buy
back,
your
I'm not buying
resurrection.
you back.
Yeah. So she continues
Well, yeah,
to
but at
challenge the
some
demon
point,
tower
like,
and hopes that one day Velverosa will take notice and fall for her charms.
Notice me, senpai.
Also,
Velverosa
I
took notice.
Maine.
Oh yeah,
The
Yeah.
second
oh,
half
there's
didn't happen though.
Velverosa took notice. Velverosa took notice, and so did the Princess of Faustina, who is also now in the current arc, also pursuing Mallory, and Mallory thinks it's weird and creepy. and
What a
Velverosa,
fucking hypocrite.
Velverosa is like, I wonder how you make me feel, huh?
Yeah, it's like funny how that works, huh?
Yeah,
What a fucking hypocrite.
Oh man.
What a
This
fucking
is-
hypocrite.
this is legit. This is one of the
That-
funniest.
Okay, that is legit brilliant. I'm gonna have to read this now.
This is one of the funniest webtoons I've ever read, for real. It has a story, and it's a good story, and it's there's sometimes where it gets really mysterious or really serious, or really sad, but most of the time it's just fucking hilarious.
It's
Uh,
dumb gays.
The art style
When I say
is
that, I mean like just gays being really dumb about how they admit their feelings
it's
for each other.
just horny gaze is what it is. The art style
That's a better
is
descriptor.
Horny
beautiful.
It is basically horny the gay.
Yeah, but it's so funny. I love it to death. It's so funny. It's super well polished, and of course, you know, they really put emphasis on the titties. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, that's why it's one of your all-time favorites. I got you.
Of course, yeah.
See, the thing is, though,
that's a
I'm not
bonus.
sure if I'm allowed to like feel anything about that because
Because you're married.
I'm not gay.
Oh.
No, because I'm like
Oh,
this is
Okay.
clearly
Oh,
directed
okay,
at
so it doesn't-
lesbians.
It doesn't have.
cares?
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you're
Bro.
married. It's just that you're straight. That's real interesting.
What does that have to do?
No, I don't know if
You
I'm
kidding
allowed
me?
to
Some of
from
the
an artist
best people
perspective.
to like some of the best people to like talk about boobs and ass with are lesbian girls.
For real
True.
though.
Straight up.
True.
Straight up. It's an amazing conversation to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like because it is a gay comic that is like every angle of it is girl, and he's like the emphasis on the titties. I'm like clearly I am
First
not the
of all,
target audience here.
No, it's not. Every single interaction is not girl because Sarek is a man and has a huge
No, but-
crush on the demon general who is a Lamia. He's like, please wrap me up in your tail and squish me.
So, AKA choke me, mommy.
Yes.
Oh my god. These people are broken in the brain. and it's
they really are. There's literally a point where
I'm
like,
gonna fit the phrase "choke me, mommy" into this as many
There's-
times
there's
as I can
literally
get
a
away with.
point-
By the way.
there's a point.
Well, I mean, that was literally him saying
the
"Choke
point
me,
where
mommy."
the point where Sarek is like, I'm not gonna revive you anymore. Mallory literally convinces him to go back to the demon tower because he's like, well, so and so, whatever her name was, the Lamia lady. Well, she just shed her tail skin. We can get that for you if you want. And he's like, sign me the fuck up.
Okay, now I kind of want to go
That's a
vomit.
bit weird.
Actually,
I'm gonna be honest. That's kind of gross.
It is.
That's like
And even
that's
Mallory,
like on the
even
order of
Mallory thinks
sniffing
so.
panties
Mallory is
right
like,
there.
Sarek, you fucking kinky bastard. What the fuck?
no,
Mallory
Dave,
doesn't get to say that with her bullshit
that's-
queen.
that's definitely worse. That's like, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go panty sniff. That's like,
Zeta, that's fucking gross, dude. Ew. No. It's pretty bad.
Any like nicety happening in my brain just went away.
yeah,
That's
it's
disgusting.
like that's fucking creepy. I'm gonna collect your shed skin and just be like, ah,
But it's
yeah,
a
that's pretty
reptile-
fucking creepy.
It's scales though, because it's a reptile tail.
Oh, true.
It's still fucking creepy.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Well, but if I could be blunt, that's why I likened it to the panty thing, is because snakes shed their skin, and it's a very normal thing for a snake to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
I
girls
would
get
assume
periods,
that
and it's a
I'm
very
assuming
normal
that this
thing to
Lamia
do.
general doesn't wear a snuggie around her snake half.
No, not until Sarek makes her one.
Okay, can we move on?
The fact that that's a thing.
Yeah, go. If you're interested in this at all, you can go look up Mage and Demon Queen on Webtoon and give it a read. And you can also find the artist Colorless on Twitter and
So
Patreon.
cursed.
Just know that Zeta is judging you. Not,
Yeah,
not
but
that that
also-
matters at all,
I was
but like,
gonna
I'm
say-
judging you.
I was gonna say, also don't give a shit about Zeta judging you. Live your own life. Don't worry about him. He's got his own problems.
Be a fucking
I'm willing to
adult.
bet money I know which comic is number one because he never shuts up about it.
You're probably right, but here we go. Number fucking.
That's going to be
one.
interesting for me because I've never heard him talk about Webtoon before we decided to talk about Webtoon.
So here we go. Comic number one, Namesake.
Yep.
I was actually wrong.
Wow, what did you think it was?
Cursed Princess Club.
Cursed Princess Club? Oh, that did not make my top 5. It did make my top 10 though.
You fucking nerd.
We haven't actually talked about Namesake in a long time.
Namesake.
Yeah, so anyway, talk to us about Namesake because I've never
Namesake.
fucking heard of this.
Namesake will forever be my number one webcomic. It's fucking amazing.
Have you legit never heard of Namesake? We talked about it for a while.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about now.
You talked about it a lot in the
Namesake.
car when he was not around. That's what it was.
Namesake is a phenomenal comic. It was started in 2010 by Megan Levy-Heaton and Isabelle Melencon, which we talked about her a little bit earlier. They both have Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, DeviantArt. If you want to look them up.
People still use
Namesake.
Tumblr?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, people still use Tumblr. Just because you can't draw titties on Tumblr anymore doesn't mean people don't use it. Just 80% of the people that use it left.
Random thoughts that I'm not going to turn into actual stories. For
Namesake.
meaningless clout that'll never be used on the internet.
Yeah.
Namesake!
Namesake is the story of Emma Crew, a regular college student. Sure. One day she finds
Yeah,
herself at
okay,
the local
regular.
library when things suddenly go very wrong. The library bursts into flames, and Emma herself is suddenly thrust into another world. A world with a long and winding yellow brick road. Lost and confused, Emma discovers that she is now in the land of Oz from the story The Wizard of Oz. And she quickly learns that she's something called a namesake, which is an individual who takes on the mantle of the original protagonist of a fairy tale. In her case, she is a Dorothy. She finds herself tied up in something much, much bigger than Oz, and it's up to her and her companions to save all the worlds before they become consumed by the ever-hungering shadows. And also, Warwick Chopper is the coolest fucking name and the sweetest fucking boy, okay?
I have to say, that sounds like generic the anime.
You really kind of do.
It's like Isekai generic the anime.
I'll put it this way. Namesake is like Kingdom Hearts if it was actually good.
Ooh,
Mm.
he's throwing shade
But
now.
it's a webcomic.
But I have to
Kingdom
agree
Hearts
with
if it was
though.
actually good.
Because like, if you
3
look
was
at
a
the
bit of a
argument,
letdown.
Kingdom Hearts was good. Everything after the first game was convoluted bullshit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like playing in the worlds of all these different things. I like the big worlds. I like all the unlockables. I like all the other stuff. But the story was convoluted bullshit. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and we can talk about that in its own episode. But Namesake is fucking amazing. Okay, the art is gorgeous. The story
Fucking
is
Ringo over here posted more Berserk
yeah.
manga.
I'm just choosing to ignore it. The story is amazing. It's very well written. It could be a novel, and it is getting a. It does have paperback print if you want to look into that. The characters are super. They're very engaging and relatable and diverse as fuck. The world setting is familiar and mysterious because it goes off of fairy tales. And I'm just gonna mute Ringo real quick.
So I wanted to
before
stress
he
something.
can,
Like the way you said familiar and mysterious made it sound like you found that phrase somewhere and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna use that.
yeah, probably. Everything about this series is amazing. Is the first webcomic I ever read that was like, I really feel things when I read this, and that's why I put it in my fucking top favorite of all time. And I've yet to find like overall a better webcomic with a like better story or better art or anything like that. They've also got 3 books
I've got some for you to
published.
read, buddy.
They got 3 books physical published so far. It's amazing. Even if none of the other ones on this list piqued your interest, please go look at Namesake. It's well worth it.
Ringo, that picture just screams my body is ready.
Okay, so
Anyway, moving on.
I just wanted to
That's an
say-
off-topic question.
You have no authority here, Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret.
Anyway, so now that I've gone through my top 5, I just wanted to say, what have you all been reading recently? And I bet James / Ringo is gonna say, Berserk manga, so we're
Berserk
gonna
manga.
skip him.
The only thing that I've been reading is the Berserk manga.
Yeah, fuck you.
Recently.
Dude, I don't read.
Do you mean like things that aren't web comics?
No, I mean webcomics. What have you read recently that we didn't already talk
I've been
about?
reading Suitor Armor by Purpa. Shout out. Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe, and who was the little trash made by? Let me look that back up. That is
S0S2.
not. Yeah, SOS SOS2, and then Penguin Peeves by.
There's
Yeah.
Penguin Peeves
There's
right there.
Penguin
Ringo
Peeves
just
for
nailed
sure.
it.
Yeah, by George Podgery.
Judge Podgery.
George Podgery.
Recently,
Podgery.
I would have to say I have been reading Voice of the Lost Souls by I can't read that. Hold on a sec. I'll click it so I can read it. Crystal H78. Which is about superheroes. It's a superhero comic. Sugar and Spies, which is like children who are being conscripted into a spy. Alienated, which is about an alien who is all alone on Earth and trying to figure out how to survive. And Labyrinth, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like with a lot of anime.
Labyrinth, like the one with David Bowie.
David
No,
Bowie.
Yes,
David
I know.
Bowie.
I said
Yes,
it wrong
Bowie,
on
like the
purpose.
Bowie knife. Kim J. Dav is Labyrinth.
I thought you were gonna say Kim J. Dad for a minute, and I was gonna have so many questions.
Kim J.
I mean, I thought he was going to say Kim Jong Un. So
Yeah,
Fucking
right.
Kim
Alienated is by Shell Boop.
Kim Jong Dad.
Kim Jong Dad. Kim Jong Dad be dead.
Labyrinth. The basic it's one of these where it's like the world has dungeons in it, and people become adventurers to go delve into dungeons, and
So it's
They have like
D&D.
an actual
The anime.
video game style level up system in
So
real
it's
life.
so it's the
So it's
gamer
D&D,
or
the
Magi
anime.
Labyrinth of Magic or
It's like
whatever.
those two combined, honestly.
Well,
Oh, another one I've been reading recently is CRC Luna's Conspiracy Research Club, which is another Merryweathery comic that's no longer under Merryweathery. And it's posted as though these are posts to like a Twitter account.
oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's actually really, really, really interesting. The thing I like the most about that one is the pacing of how it tells you what's happening. And
Yeah.
it never tells you what's happening. It tells you just enough to keep you interested, but never enough for you to really know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it does that very, very well.
It's like a webcomic / ARG. It's really interesting.
Yes, and right now they haven't posted anything for a bit because they're in an ARG section.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like ARG. It's not my cup of tea.
What I do appreciate about the Conspiracy Research Club is if you don't participate in the ARG, they will cover the ARG shit in the comic, so you don't miss out on the story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's really good.
I've been
like on Hiveworks. I've just read Namesake and Slightly Different recently.
I've been reading one called No Scope, which is
what is No Scope?
It's about a Korean high school student named Do-yoon and his escapades in the made-up game Psionic Vagabond, which is usually shortened to just Cybond in the comic. And it turns out your boy Do-yoon is he was a legend rank, aka the highest rank in the game, but only on the North American servers, and he's Korean. So when his friend convinced him to play on the Korean servers, he starts out as a total noob, but because he was legend rank, he's actually fucking good at the game.
I feel like
So
I've had
classic-
that exact thing happen.
And he's gone. Wow.
Yeah, that sucked.
I
gotta say, so a classic case of like looks weak as fuck, but turns out to be absolute badass.
But
So
it's
basically,
his-
it's like having a Smurf account in Call of Duty.
It's basically
Yeah,
the
that's what
story
it's
of,
called. I
of
forgot.
him balancing like people recognize him and him becoming a pro gamer versus his high school life, etc., etc. I find it really interesting.
That sounds like a fantasy setting if I've ever heard of one.
See, I was actually gonna mention the comics I read on Snafu, but they're mostly fan comics, so I don't know if that counts.
No.
Why
Well-
do you hate it so much?
Because it's called Snafu.
Well, that's dumb
that's-
for a reason
that's
to hate
just-
it. It's great comics.
That's just a word for fuck up. That's all that is.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
original-
why
the
would I be like,
original
I'm going to
comic-
pursue a product called Fuck Up?
The original
can't
comic was called Snafu, and it was called that for a reason. But now the guy's made a whole site with like a whole bunch of comics on it. Probably the most recent and the most interesting one is GG because it's not a fan comic. It's an actual
Game
completely
Grumps?
original creation.
Game Grumps? No, not
I don't
Game
know
Grumps.
what it actually stands for.
Game Grumps?
But it's about
What
this
is that, though?
girl who's like also a like she's a fledgling wannabe exorcist, but I don't know if she really understands that. It's more like she sees spirits and ghosts and stuff, but it's very unclear if she actually believes that this is going on or if she thinks there's something wrong in her mind
Mm.
because nobody else can see it, and she gets really frustrated when nobody else can understand what she's going. And so it'll kind of jump between these like imaginary worlds that she's in, and like the juxtaposition of that to reality, and her being like, okay, so is any of this even fucking real then?
That just sounds like
What's wrong with
psychosis.
me?
Sure. It's like she needs to take her schizo meds.
But it is apparently real, and she is dealing with actual spirits, ghosts, etc.
Who you gonna call?
I
Not
just
you.
think it's interesting because I've never seen.
I don't know, probably Mom, because I haven't talked to Mom in a while, and I feel like I should be a better son.
Wow. I was gonna say because you see stories like Third Shift Society or Ghostbusters, and like
Oh man, Third Shift
either
Society is really good.
everything is something that everybody's like everybody can see it, everybody can get involved with it. They just need to be in the right place at the right time, or it's super secretive, but there are special people who can, deal with it or whatever. I've never seen the
Yeah,
story
like-
from the point of view of I don't even understand if what I'm going through is real or if my brain is fucked up and that's why I'm seeing this shit. I've never seen a ghost story approached from that direction, and I think it's really novel.
Mm. Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, that actually is kind of an interesting concept because that sort of goes into like we were talking about earlier. It explores like mental health, and then I'm always open to talking about mental health, the effects of like what obviously it's an over dramatized way, and it's got like sort of fantastic elements to it, but like how does it affect you?
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with it?
Yeah, like I just thought that it's very, very interesting to me because it's very, very different from any other like supernatural style comic. Because you look at like Paranatural or what is it called, Rise from Ashes. Those are two other ones, and it's just like either there's a subsection of people who all have the superpower and they all work together as a group, and it's understood that everything is real, or everyone knows it, like the whole world's aware of this thing. It's just part of the reality of the world, and I've just never seen it be done this way where they're really questioning the reality of whether or not this is here, even though it is supposed to be a real part of the world, because it's that unknown to that much of the population.
Well, we're about out of time for today, so we need to wrap this up. But if you
Wrap it
find
up.
yourself interested in webtoons at all, I would recommend going to Line Webtoon and read some of the ones there, or Hiveworks. Tapis if you feel like getting things thrown in your face about ads.
Yeah, if you're on the sketchy side,
yeah.
Yeah, if you
No,
don't, if you don't
You're
have,
into
Tapas is
that
not
hood life.
sketchy.
if you've got ad
Tulix
blocker,
and
you can
Tappy
go there.
Tunes are sketchy.
if
Yeah.
you've never read a webtoon before and you're like, will I enjoy this? Is this something that I should look into? Is this a type of medium that I should try out? I know I've been simping for it like the entire episode, but like really start with Lore Olympus because it is like the example.
I
It is
kind
the
of
most exemplar.
I almost agree
It
with
is the
that.
standard by which there's a reason it's the number one on the site. It is the
If-
standard by which all other webtoons should be compared.
If any of
For,
the
like, art
titles
quality,
that we mentioned to
etc.
you today interest you, please go
Not
look them
genre.
up. Go look them up and,
Yeah.
and give them a look, see if you might want to read them, etc. We gotta go.
Read
So-
Toaster Dude.
Definitely read Toaster Dude.
Toaster Dude. Yeah, actually, yeah. You know what? Start with Toaster Dude.
Toaster
And if
Dude's
that kind
great.
of if that kind of humor isn't your thing, there's plenty other things. But yeah, start with Toaster Dude.
Remember to like and subscribe and give us a 5-star rating and go read some webtoons.
Yeah, what he said.
And if you learned something, what's wrong with you? You weren't supposed
Yeah, and also don't read the Berserk manga. Okay, see you
Do read
later.
to.
Well, do but read webtoon.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Here's our fancy,
Where are we?
here's our fancy outro. Bye bye everybody.
Aww.
Aww.